Hi, this is Mike back with the SV Elusive, and I'm going to do a tour of the top sides of my boat today, and there she is, all in her dirty glory. So anyway, we'll start up front. You can see she's got a little bowsprit. It's got a 22-pound Bruce anchor. Got 40 feet of chain and about 270 feet of rode. So I've got, like 320 feet of total road for the anchor, so I can set pretty well wherever I want and get the right scope that I need. So I just wanted to show everybody, here's the windlass right here, this arm, because there isn't any windlass on the boat. So it's all pulled up by arm strength and lower back, I guess. Anyway, as you can see, there's my furler. Rolls up my Jenny, and nice little clipper bow. And there's the outside of my new portholes, port lights. You can see I've got the sails are all furled and or covered. So you can see there's my halyards, and I can pull the sails from the cockpit. It's one of the nice things of single hand sailing. So anyway, I'll go forward, and so you can see this is looking at the bowsprit from behind on the deck. And there's my little chimney, or I think they used to call these cambooses back in the day. Well, that's for my heater. And you can see I've got there's my two vents. And these are my I've got two little Anderson winches for my halyards. And then I've got self-tailing Andersons for my sheets. And you can see my Dolphin cleats. So we're all ready to go. Of course, there's my tiller, nice big tiller, and there's my autopilot hooked to the tiller, so you can see how that hooks up, and it's plugged in. So it is electrical, runs on the battery. And while I'm still standing up, you can see in my push pit in the back there, there's my little engine holder for my dinghy. Got a little 2.5 horsepower Suzuki that pushes my little 9-foot dinghy along very well. There's my new life ring, and it's got the safety light on it, auxiliary, my Danforth auxiliary anchor, of course my Magma barbecue, and there's my instruments. So there's the aft side of the bulwark to my cabin, and you can see on the starboard side I've got my Ritchie bulkhead compass, and it's lit so at night it shines blue. It's pretty cool looking at night. And then there's my repeater, my Garmin repeater. So it says right now we're actually, for whatever reason, the GPS, that's a GPS reading there, and you can see one says 180 and the other says 87, and so they're 180 degrees out. So one should be, if we were underway, this would say 180. It wouldn't say, but the GPS thinks we're pointed the other way until we actually get some motion, and then it recognizes which way it is pointing. Because right now it's the boat, even though it's pointing at 180 south, the GPS thinks it's pointed 90 degrees. I'm sorry, 0 degrees the other way. So anyway, it's just an odd way it works, but it doesn't know where it's at until it actually moves underway. So you can see there's my chart plotter showing us sitting. Oh, okay, in the GPS heading here is 336 magnetic, which is not matching. So you can see they're off right now, and they will stay off because one, there's obviously deviation in the variation and deviation in the compass, the magnetic compass that the GPS does not have. And then there's my knot meter. That's my analog knot meter. So that tells you how fast you're going through the water. But the GPS is speed over ground, so this tells you how fast you're going through the water, but it doesn't compensate for the current or anything like that. So it may say you're going faster than you actually are, because the GPS will gives you your true speed over ground. And even though we're on the water, it still sees that as the ground. So that's your true speed, would be over ground, not how fast you're going through the water. Sometimes they match if it's nice and calm, but typically they don't. And then the lower instrument here is those my hour, nautical miles, and then hours. And of course you can see my two winch handles that are in those little storage bins, and I typically hook my portable GPS, well, it is a GPS radio here, just in case I need to grab it or something in an emergency. And anyway, spinning around here, sitting, this is where my I have a RAM that goes with my standard Horizon that plugs in here. So I have remote out here. So I got more radios and remotes to radios than you can shake an eye at. And anyway, it's just funny, all the stuff over time that you can collect. And these are, you can see these vents are for my my engine, which is right under where I'm sitting at right now here. And inside, obviously, it's an inboard diesel, and there's my GPS antenna. When I had to hook that up for my AIS, so that came with the AIS. It, for whatever reason, I guess because this is actually a pretty heavy, thick cabin top, and so it was, the AIS wasn't able to get a good GPS reading, and so I had to install that in order for the AIS to work properly, since it needs to know where it's at all the time too, to you know, to show your location on AIS. So anyway, this is not much of a tour, because I'm not going to say not much of a boat, but not a very big boat, but she's certainly, for me, my little pride and joy, and it's something that I can easily handle myself out in the water. So, oh, and there's the two vents from the backside, and those are Doriads. So I was trying to think of what they were called a while ago when I was introducing them, and for whatever reason, my brain wouldn't spit out Doriad. So anyway, and those are actually named, Doriad comes from a boat named Doriad back in the early 20th century that had those type of vents on them, and everybody liked them so much because if the water goes through the vent, through the cowling, it actually doesn't, there's a dam inside there that doesn't let the water go down the hole, so they won't leak. I suspect that in a really rough weather, or water coming, well, it's more water than I would want to be out in if the water's coming all the way back here from over the bow. But you know, never say never that things can't leak or whatever. But anyway, so there she is, and there's my boom. She's got a brand new mainsail that I don't use that much, so she's just like new. And of course you can see my rope clutches for locking up my halyards when I pull them in, and of course I still tie them off to the little cleats in the back, because these aren't self-tailing, and because they're smaller winches. But anyway, I'll just swing around and give you another look at it. And so this is my boat. Yeah, this is my RAM, my remote radio for my standard horizon. It's a RAM 3, and it installs to this, it plugs in outside, but it drives this radio, so I have remote, you know, and I can see it's not plugged in, but it'll show all the same targets that you can see right now in the on the screen here. You can see the little, so it tells you, and it'll tell you what all the targets are. So, and again, there's my AIS in the back there, and that, so this is a receiver only, and this is a transceiver that, and a spreader that, or splitter, I guess they call them, that will receive AIS as well as transmit my signal or data, so that other boats can see where I'm at and what I am, and what, you know, what I am, a sailboat, or and how big and all that. So, and these are my engine controls. And as you can see, I've got the tachometer, the engine kill switch, light switch, starter button, starter key, and then these are all the warning lights. So when you turn the key, you get an automatic alarm. I believe it's oil pressure because the engine isn't running. It goes off as soon as you start. And on the starboard side here, that is the throttle, and you can see this is it's in neutral right now. you push that in to put it in gear, the transmission in gear, and then or gearbox, whatever. And then it's, I like this throttle because it's a single. You push it forward and it shifts into forward, and it goes and then speeds up the engine to go forward. And then if you pull it back past neutral, it goes into reverse, so you don't have to monkey with two different handles to get it to do the same thing. So I really like it, that style. These are my lazarettes. You can see, so I've got lots of storage back here. You can see there's a vent hose running from the vent here into the engine compartment, so the engine can breathe and exhaust. Well, it does not exhaust the engine exhaust, but it exhausts the atmosphere, in the engine compartment, so that creates suction. And this is the center. Now on this brand of boat, this is where the outboard motor would have gone if you had the outboard motor rather than a inboard. So and there was a hole through the bottom of the boat, and that's obviously where the propeller stuck through the lower casing of the engine and ran. But it was my understanding that these things suffocated a lot being stuck inside there, but that's what I was told. I think it had more to do with the exhaust than it did with it not being able to get oxygen to run. And this side, I've just got it stuffed with my cushions and stuff. But you can see it goes quite deep down in there. And anyway, so boat has plenty of storage, but it's as my friend says, it's a pocket cruiser, so it's not certainly anything you're going to go too far in, but for a week or two less, 2 weeks or less maybe, it's fine. But if you were going to do any kind of extended, you'd certainly want a bigger boat or a different design of boat, I would say, if you stuck with the same basic dimensions. That would be a little bit wider, because this has got an 8-foot beam on it, and that's so it could be trailered, because this was a trailerable boat. So it only has an 8-foot, so it's 26 feet, 22 feet water line, and 26 feet deck to deck, and of course 29.5 for overall length. And anyway, that's so obviously trailering a boat this size, I mean, I know people trailer bigger ones or heavier ones, but I wouldn't want to, especially as a single hand. That isn't something that I ever considered. I have a little 15-foot trailer boat that's a Montgomery that is more doing it by yourself is still a little bit of work, so I'm kind of out of that business anymore. But anyway, this is me signing off. I hope you enjoyed the little tour of my boat. It's kind of done a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but it's just to show you what other smaller boat sailors do and use. And anyway, and like I said before, it's more than enough for me. I don't know that I would want anything much bigger than this. If I was going to continue to single-hand sail, but I know people sail all the time with 40 or more larger boats, and so it's just something you get used to. But for now, I'm more than happy with this. So I'll give you a little view of the marina where I'm currently docked for the last 9 years, going on 10. here in a few months, and so they're supposed to. So there's my one neighbor whom I never see, and I didn't see at all last year. He's been there a couple years now, and there's my buddy with his 55-foot. So all the boats on the outside are all in the 50 foot plus range, and then so anyway, that's the 360 of my view here, and then of course you can see the cliffs behind me as I'm looking to the north. So we are south facing, or at least I'm facing south. The water, the beach, everything is south facing here. So the sun sets that away over top of the point there. Anyway, this is Mike from Elusive signing off. Bye.